Hello beer tubers and welcome to yet another beer review with me, Peter, the master of hoppets, looking at another Munkebo Mikrobryg beer. This is another beer in their Hjemstavn series, which is their series of beer that is made with their house yeast, which was collected from a bee. This one, guys, is the Munkebo Hjemstavn Stærk Dansk Ale, or Strong Danish Ale. It's a 10% traditional ale that follows the same vein of the Harvest Ale and the regular Hjemstavn Ale. So kind of like traditional style Danish beer that would have been made on farms many years ago, where people would brew godøl and skidøl, and every farm would brew their own beer. So it kind of follows that tradition, and this is on 10%, which is really high. It should be interesting to see what this yeast can do, when it's a 10% beer, if this is going to be even more estery and like the yeast is going to have a bigger profile, who knows. It says it's a strong Danish ale on 10% with lots of aroma and taste from local ingredients such as Danish malts and our own house yeast. And this says Danish barley malt, pilgrim hops, and then the Munkebo 000 for yeast, and an IBU on 30%. So this should be interesting. By the looks of it in the bottle here, it looks like it's going to be a darker beer. So without further ado, let's get this cracked and poured. The yeast really smacks you in the face. Wow, there is a lot of yeast character in the room right now, but really nice looking, hazy, kind of dark copper color, white head to it. Let's check out the aroma on this bad boy, and also thanks to Munkebo for the beer. Whoa, the yeast is really dominant on the aroma. Like super overripe banana. I'm definitely also getting a touch of rubbing, almost alcohol, phenol character to it. Maybe a little too much, actually. And this is just slightly chilled. Very floral, very sweet, very estery. That peachy thing is definitely there. Peach apricot, which is kind of like a dominant flavor of the yeast, at least in the beer so far. But it's definitely got some caramel malts or something in there, because you're getting that caramel, sweet, figgy thing. To me, it almost smells like a Weizenbock. Like, if you could call it an imperialized Weizenbock, because it's like 10%. Because it's got the same sweet banana, overripe banana, candied fruit, candied banana aroma to it, with some of the alcohol. So kind of like that Weizenbock slash maybe some kind of Belgian strong dark ale on the aroma. That's what it's similar to, at least. It's just like a peppery spiciness to it, but yeah, it smells like a very intensely yeast flavored beer. But let's give it a taste. Cheers, and again, thanks to Munkebo for the beer. Well, that is a huge and sweet beer. This is kind of like a Weizenbock for sure, or a very fruity Doppelbock. Or maybe almost going into Eisbock, because Doppelbocks aren't like 10% usually. I'm getting like that caramel, toffee, almost figgy flavor, but the sweet estery yeast profile is just like smack in your face. Like there's so much of that intense yeasty flavor, that kind of sweet bubble, maybe not bubblegum, but sweet overripe banana, like an almost all brown banana, and then some of those kind of peach and fig notes. It's like a huge Doppelbock slash Weizenbock. Not so much Belgian strong blonde, because it tastes more clean than like the Belgians, because you're not getting as much of a spicy and Belgian-y kind of estery yeast profile. It's more of a cleaner German type flavor. And you kind of figure that out more also now that the beer is higher in ABV, so I guess the yeast profile shines through a little bit more, but it's pretty nice. The kind of rubbing alcohol almost thing on the aroma is not there on the flavor, possibly because it's quite sweet, so the sweetness kind of hides that. This is pretty good. This is really interesting. This is the first batch as well, so it should be interesting to see how the new batches are going to be of this, but yeah, cool. I mean, cool stuff. The closest thing I'd say, Doppelbock or Weizenbock, an imperial version, just made with a Danish house yeast, which is pretty cool. Some kind of raisiny things going on too, but it is really, really sweet. I mean, if you don't like sweet beer, you will probably not like this. But if you don't mind sweeter beers like me, I think you'll dig it. it leaves that sticky gloss on your lips too, with a ton of caramel flavor. So, like a double buck kind of. I'm gonna go 87 on this one. I don't think it's as good as some of his other beers, but again, they're very new to using this yeast, so I guess they need to not get some more recipes down. So yeah, I think my favorite of the bunch is probably this and the Harvest Ale, but I still have the, was it Hugin or Moonin to try, which is a beer to God, so I think that would work well with it too. Or maybe I think this yeast would work very well actually in IPA or Pale Ale if you just did a ton of fruity dry hops, because that kind of fruity apricot banana thing, and it has a kind of chewy mouthfeel too. I didn't even talk about that, but a chewy kind of mouthfeel. I think that would work well together. So hopefully some of the homebrewers in the homebrew competition who's going to brew with it are going to make super hoppy beers with it. So yeah, guys, that does it for the beer review of the Munkebo Hjemstavn Strong Danish Ale on 10% and 87 for me, guys. Let me know what you think of this bad boy if you've had a chance to try it. And as always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page and Twitter and Instagram. Now I'm going to say cheers and see you guys in another beer review.